Hi everybody, welcome to another Granny Square Sunday. So it's not Yarn Scrap Friday anymore. This is our second episode of Granny Square Sunday, and we've got more of a beginner friendly square this week, and it is for the Bean Bobble Granny Square, I've decided to call it. So the Bean Bobble Granny Square, and it works out to be the same size as the previous squares. So this square measures 4 inches approximately by 4 inches. That's 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Okay, so for this square, we're going to be using the same weight yarn. This is a DK, a light worsted weight yarn. So that's a yarn weight of 3. I'm going to do it in 2 different colors. And with that, I'm using a 4mm crochet hook. And you're also going to need a pair of scissors and a yarn needle as well. Okay, so let's begin. Okay, so we're going to start off with the colour first. So for this one, I'm making a pink one. Hopefully this appears on camera okay. And we're going to work 12 double crochet into a magic circle or chain 4 loops, completely up to you. This pattern's in US terminology. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with a slip knot, and I'm going to do a chain 4 method, so maybe that's a little bit easier for beginners, but like I said, you can use a magic circle, magic ring, magic loop, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so we chained 4. I'm going to put our hook into our first chain, bring the yarn through the first chain and straight through the loop on your hook. So we've got a little loop of chains. And I'm just going to do a little chain 1 for leverage. We're not going to count that as a stitch, but then we're going to yarn over. And like I said, we're going to work 12 double crochet into the center of that loop. So be careful not to go into that first chain, which looks bigger. You want to go into the middle, then just wrapping it around the chains. I'm going to do a double crochet, or in UK terms, these are going to be trebles. Okay, so you want 12 double crochet, so that's 1, 2, 10, so squeeze in another 2, 11, and you might have to just move your stitches over, 12. Okay, so we've got 12 double crochet, and then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch into that first double crochet, put your hook into there, bring the yarn through, and do a slip stitch. Okay, so at the end of that round, you should have 12 double crochet. Okay, moving on to round 2, we're going to stay with the pink, and what we're going to do is we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, and 3, and those 3 chains we are going to count as a double crochet. Then we're going to yarn over. I'm going to go into the same stitch we just slip stitched into, so at the bottom of those chains, into there, and work a double crochet. So it's like we've got 2 double crochet in that first stitch. We're going to work 2 double crochet in each stitch around. So we're going to go into the next stitch, do 2 double crochet, 1 and 2, and just work 2 double crochet in each stitch around. And we're doubling up our stitch count from 12 to 24. Okay, just coming up to the last stitch, 2 double crochet in the last stitch as well, 1 and 2. And then what we're going to do is we're going to slip stitch in the top of our 3 chains, but we want to join the white yarn. So the first thing we're going to do is find that 3rd chain, 1, 2, 3, and putting your hook into that 3rd chain like it was a normal stitch. Okay, like that. We're going to drop the pink to put our project down, and we're going to get our next colour, which for me is this creamy colour. And we're going to yarn over with the creamy colour, bring that through that 3rd chain, and then bring it through the loop on your hook, and then just pull your tail ends to make sure that's secure. And now we're working with the white colour. So what we're going to do now is we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and again we're going to count that as a double crochet. Then what we want to do is yarn over, and skipping the stitch below where we slip stitched into the third chain, we're going to find our first proper stitch, this double crochet, the next stitch, and we're going to work 2 double crochet in there. 1 and 2, so 2 double crochet in there. Okay, then in the next stitch we're going to do just 1 double crochet by itself, just 1 double crochet. Then in the next stitch we do 2 double crochet. 1 and 2, and we're going to repeat that all the way around, doing 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, back to the beginning. You'll end on 2 double crochet, and you should have a stitch count of 36, I think. So I shall do that, and then I should come back. So 1 double crochet, then 2 double crochet. Okay. So it's coming up to the end, and 2 stitches left. So ending 1 double crochet, and then the very last stitch 2 double crochet. So your stitch count should be whatever I said it was before, 36, I think. And that includes the 3 chains, so that's being counted as 1 stitch. Okay, so then what we want to do is the same as before. We want to find that third chain, 1, 2, 3, the one at the top. Put your hook in like it's a proper stitch. But we're going to rejoin the colour that we're using. So instead of yarning over with the white, we're going to yarn over with the pink, bring that through that chain and through the loop on our hook, and then just make sure to pull your tail ends. Okay, so now we're working with the pink again, and now we're going to create our little bean stitches, our little bean bobbles here. So to do that, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Then in the next stitch, so we're going to skip that chain that we slip stitched into. In the next proper stitch, we're going to do a double crochet. Okay, and then what we're going to do is our bean stitch. So to do that, if you don't know the bean stitch already, we're going to yarn over, and we're going to put our hook in between these chains and this double crochet. So in this big gap, and kind of turn our work sideways, and then we're going to bring the yarn through that gap, bring up a little loop. And we're going to do that twice more. We're going to yarn over again, go into that gap, bring the yarn through. Okay, yarn over again into that gap, bring the yarn through, and you should have a lot of loops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I think, and then just yarn over, and we're going to pull through all those loops, so it helps to give it a wiggle and also to point your hook downwards like so, and that's your first bean stitch. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, and then we're going to repeat that. So we do 1 double crochet in the next stitch as well. And then work a bean stitch in between those 2 double crochets. So we're going to yarn over, put your hook in between those last 2 double crochets, or turn your work sideways, bring the yarn through, bring up a little loop, do that twice more, yarn over into the gap, bring the yarn through, yarn over into the gap, bring the yarn through. And you've got all these loops, and then we're going to yarn over, twist your hook down, give it a wiggle, bring it through all those loops. And sorry if you hear the wind in the background, it's very windy today. And there we go, that's our bean stitch. So we're going to repeat that all the way around. So you work 1 double crochet in the next stitch and 1 double crochet in the next stitch. So we do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches, and then we work the bean stitch in between those 2 double crochets. So we yarn over first, go into the gap between those double crochets, bring up a loop, do that twice more, 1 and 2. Then we yarn over, pull through all those loops. Okay, and then we do 1 double crochet in the next 2. So repeat that all the way around, back to the beginning. So I shall do that, and then I shall come back. Okay, just coming up to the end, got 2 stitches left, so 1 double crochet in the last 2 stitches. And of course we're going to put a little bean stitch in between those as well. So our last bean stitch. And then, okay, then what we want to do is we want to slip stitch into the top of those first 3 chains. So 1, 2, 3, find that 3rd chain, put your hook into there, but we're going to rejoin the white yarn again. So we've actually finished with the pink, so we can actually cut the pink if we want to, so we don't get tangled. And then we're just going to yarn over with the white, bring that through the 3rd chain, through the loop on your hook, and then just pull your tail ends. And there we go, that's the end of round 4. And now we're going to turn it into a square. So to turn it into a square, we're going to do a little chain 1. We're not going to count that as a stitch. Your stitch count, I think now should be about 53, I think, but don't worry too much about the stitch count. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 bean stitches, if that helps. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to skip that 3rd chain we just slip stitched into, then find the next stitch, which is right next door, and into there we're going to work 1 single crochet. 1 single crochet in there. We're going to do 1 single crochet in the next stitch as well, which will be a slightly larger stitch. 1 single crochet in there. Okay. Then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So in UK terms, that's half trebles. So a half double crochet in the next stitch, pull through all 3, half double crochet in the next stitch as well. Okay. Then we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So double crochet in the next stitch, and a double crochet in the next stitch, like so. Then what we're going to do is on the corner, which doesn't look like a corner at the moment, but in the next stitch we're going to do a double crochet to begin. So 1 double crochet. Then we're going to do a treble crochet. So in UK terms that's going to be a double treble, but what we do is we wrap the yarn around our hook twice. Just hold on to it with your finger. Go back into the same stitch, bring the yarn through, and whenever you do a double crochet or bigger, you just yarn over, pull through 2 until you get to the end. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that's a treble. Then we're going to chain 2, 1 and 2, and then we're going to do another treble in the same stitch. So go back in there again and work another treble. Pull through 2, pull through 2, pull through 2, and then we're going to finish up with a double crochet in there as well. So go back in there again and do a double crochet. So we end up with 4 stitches in that 1 stitch plus the 2 chains. Okay, then we're going to come back down in size. So we're going to do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So a double crochet in the next stitch, double crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to do 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So a half double crochet in the next stitch, half double crochet in the next stitch, and then we finish up with 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So a single crochet in the next stitch and a single crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so you can see it starting to look more like a square. Then we're just going to repeat that 3 more times back to the beginning. So it's 1 single crochet in the next 2, 1 and 2. Then it's 1 half double crochet in the next 2, and I'll put a written version on my website in case you want to follow along to the free written pattern. So 1 half double crochet in the next 2, 1 double crochet in the next 2, 1, 2, and then on the corner it was all in 1 stitch is a double crochet, treble crochet, so wrap the yarn around your hook twice, treble, chain 2, another treble, all in the same stitch, and then a double crochet in there as well. And then we come back down in size, we do 1 double crochet in the next 2 stitches. So double crochet in there, double crochet in there, then 1 half double crochet in the next 2 stitches, half double crochet in there, half double crochet in there, and then 1 single crochet in the next 2 stitches, single crochet, single crochet. Okay, and then that's our next lot of stitches. Okay, so repeat that twice more, and I shall do that, and then I shall come back. Okay, so when you get to the end, just finishing up with the single crochets, 1 single crochet in the next 2. Okay, so you'll have 1 stitch left. What we're going to do is we're going to skip the last stitch, and we're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. So just slip stitch into there. Give it a little pull with the tail end, just so you can't notice that skipped stitch too much. Okay, and there we go. It's now been turned into a square. But one last round from then on, we're going to slip stitch all the way around. So just to neaten it off and make it look nice. So we're going to slip stitch up to this chain 2 space. Just go straight into the next stitch and work a slip stitch. And just slip stitch up to the chain 2 space. Try not to pull too tightly, keep a nice loose slip stitch. And when you get up to, there's our treble, slip stitch in there. When you get up to the 2 chains, we're just going to slip stitch in the next chain. We're going to work it like a normal stitch, going under 2 loops. Going to slip stitch in that first chain, but then we're going to chain 1, and then before we slip stitch in the next chain. Okay, slip stitch in that second chain. Okay, and then slip stitch all the way over to the next chain 2 space, and just repeat that all the way around. So it's going to slip stitch over to the next chain 2 space and do the same thing. So again, when you get up to the next chain 2 space, slip stitch in that treble, we slip stitch in the first chain, so there should be 2 chains, slip stitch in the first chain, chain 1, then slip stitch in that second chain. Before slip stitching in the next stitch, and try not to miss that treble. Stitch is always slightly to the right, so slip stitch in there and slip stitch up to the next chain 2 space, and just repeat that all the way around back to the beginning. That's your final round. Okay, and when you get back to the beginning, we're just going to slip stitch up to that last slip stitch. So just slip stitch in those last 2 single crochets, and then I'm going to do an invisible join. So I'm going to cut my yarn, just pull that loop through, then grab your yarn needle, and what we're going to do is we're going to, that was the last stitch we just slip stitched into, that single crochet, and the next stitch is that previous slip stitch, and then we're going to skip that and find that next first slip stitch we did of the round. Going to sew into there. It's not showing up too well, something I'm really sunny and it's white yarn, but then we're going to come over and find our last slip stitch here, and we're just going to sew through the back loop only. I've done a video in more detail of the invisible join, but then what that does is create a little stitch over that very beginning slip stitch, or the last slip stitch from the last round, and creates a nice invisible join, which you can see there. Then we just hide all your tail ends and we are finished. So I shall hide my tail ends and then come back and show you the finished square. Okay, and there is our finished granny square, our Bean Bobble granny square, and you can block your squares if you want to. I don't bother blocking my squares. I find the slip stitches neat enough, but if you want to block your squares, you just pin it into place, make it slightly damp. Be careful if you're using wool yarn, because you don't want it to felt, and let it dry in place, and then that should help it keep its shape. But there we go. Match it up with our blue granny square, and yeah, I hope you managed to follow along and try something a little bit different. But if you enjoyed this video, do make sure to subscribe to our channel so you remember this channel and you can come back to more granny square tutorials. But a huge thank you as always to our monthly subscribers on Happy Berry Plus for helping make these videos possible. So if you are interested in our monthly subscription on our website, you can upgrade your free account, and there's a podcast, there are behind the scenes, there's exclusive patterns. I've just released one for a little plushy seal, and of course there is our Naturally Happy Berry crochet magazine. So issue 4 is going to be coming out soon for spring, so super excited for that. But thank you for watching. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff, and I will see you soon for some more crochet crafting fun. Thanks for watching. Bye.